Hey everybody, this is Dr. Jacobs, and this week I wanted to share with you on how to complete our final project for the semester. So what you will see here in our module materials, there will be a link to this Google presentation. And what you'll do is when you go into it, you're gonna only be able to view this copy of the final project template. What you're gonna wanna do is go into File, then you're gonna want to make a copy of the entire presentation. So you go to File, make a copy, entire presentation. You'll see here where it says copy of, I want you to put your last name. So if this was my project, I would change copy of to Jacobs. And then what you're going to want to do is figure out where you want to house this within your own materials. So if you have different folders where you keep things, you can decide whatever folder you want to put this into. So then you're going to click make a copy. It's going to take it a minute. Hopefully it's sharing the correct one now. And so when we see here, we have our own Jacobs Choose Your Own Adventure booklet. So what we're going to be doing in here is for your final project, you're going to complete several activities to choose your own life adventure. And so we have a really diverse class. Some things that might be important to you might not be important to someone else. So I have a list of different possibilities of what you could do for what parts of your life you'd like to include, if you want a career or not, romantic life, partnership, children or no children. You don't have to answer all of these things. What you're doing is creating a plan for your specific life, okay? When you're done with this entire project, you're actually going to save it as a PDF, and that's what you'll upload into the assignment portal. So to do that, you'd click File, and then you would go down to Download and download PDF document, and you'd click it, and then it will download it for you. And whatever changes you made into your copy of this final project, it will pop open for you. So let's go through and look at the different parts of this project. So if we scroll down, we see that I want you to complete some analyses on yourself. So for example, what are some of your strengths? So for me, I might put, I am great at learning new technologies and integrating them into my courses. I think I am a good friend who shows up for people when they need me. I think about things in a novel way, which allows me to infuse creativity into everything I do. So I would make a huge list of these different strengths that I have. These are just some things I made up off the top of my head. You're going to need more than 3. I would like you to, fill up this box, really think about what you're doing. You don't necessarily have to write in bullet points for these activities, but you can. And then you're going to do the same things with weaknesses. So I might put as one of my weaknesses, I take on more responsibility than I have time for. I don't always take the time to take care of myself in terms of nutrition, exercise, and leisure time. In my personal life, I will neglect basic things. I don't know. I'm making things up. You get the idea. What are your weaknesses? Maybe you stay up too late. I stay up too, this is not really one of mine. I'm just making things up. I stay up too late, and that makes it hard for me to concentrate when I am completing my job. So I really want you to think about these and fill out different strengths and weaknesses that are for you, specifically for you. I want you to use this as a tool so that when you're doing it, that it's something that you can actually use for your life. All right. So then you'll go in and talk about what makes you happy. right? And we know from what we've learned, there's more than one type of happiness, right? From our module materials. And then so here on this one, I want you to complete, if money wasn't a problem, what would you do with your life and why? Here, I'm not saying that you have unlimited money and that you can do whatever you want. In fact, I want you to avoid saying anything about traveling. So this is more talking about like, what's your life's work going to be? And sometimes this may be things that are paid. Sometimes they're unpaid things, right? Because I would say that if someone's a stay-at-home parent, that's a job, right? It's probably one of the most important jobs, but it's not one that pays in money, right? It pays in like how your children turn out. But here, I want you to reflect on, okay, what's your life purpose? If money wasn't a problem, if you didn't have to worry about that with whatever job you get or whatever role that you want to take on in your life, what would you do and why would you do it? So I want you to reflect in this box on what you would do and why. This may not align with what you actually choose to do with your life, and that's okay. Okay, so then here we're going to have another one that says, what does your typical day look like? If you don't have a typical day, just describe yesterday. Hopefully that's not a weekend, just like what you normally do, what a typical day looks like. You do not have to answer these questions. In fact, I don't want you to answer these questions on this slide where it says, what time did you wake up? What time did you get out of bed? What did you do next? What did you do after that? And so on until you go to bed. So if we go into the next slide, this is where we're going to start this reflection activity. We're going to first start by creating our typical day. Some students say, hey, well, I have a typical day that's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then I have a completely different Tuesday, Thursday schedule. If you want, you can make a copy of this slide. So to do that, you would say, you'd right click and you could click duplicate. And you can do that. You can do one of these for every day of the week. If you want to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you can do that. If you have the same schedule Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you can do that, whatever you want. So let's do my day, my typical day. So from what you're going to do is you're going to go through and color code these. So usually I wake up about 6 a.m. So I'm sleeping from this time. We can make it any color we want. Let's make sleep blue. Okay, I'm typically sleeping from about 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. So you're going to go through and you're going to color these so that you know what it is. So from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., I'm getting ready for work. Right, so you're going to fill in what you're in. So I'm sleeping here. Getting ready for work. Sleeping here. From 7 to 8, I'm commuting. So from 8 to 10, I am preparing for class, to teach class. I don't know what color I want to make that. So I'm teaching in-person classes during these times. So we're going to color those. You can run out of colors. I could probably group some of these the same. Teaching in-person class. Then y'all know I am in office hours during these times. Those green office hours. Depending on the day. So these things kind of change. So from about 2 to 5 or later, I am working on stuff for classes. Well, this is already that color. Let's find an orange color. And so I'm just working. So it could be meetings, grading, answering emails, so forth. 5 to 6, I'm usually commuting again. So I'm going to color that the same color as my other commuting. 6 to 7, we're eating dinner and dinner prepping. 7 to 8, hanging out with the kids. I'm running out of colors, y'all. So we might have to duplicate some of these colors. So we'll just do red. Hang out with my kids. Getting kids and myself ready for bed. We can make that yellow too, because getting ready for the day was yellow. And then here, I'm gonna probably watch an hour of TV to kind of wind down for my day. So mine's not as pretty. You can make them however color coded you want so they look pretty. But what you want to do is fill out, what does your typical day look like? What are you leaving time for? What are you not leaving time for? If you have significant different schedules for certain days, then you can deal with that too. And then after you complete your schedule, and it helps to have a really good idea what you're doing every week. You go in here and then reflect on what you do too much and too little of each day. These go into, if we remember from some of our lessons that this goes into helping you become more self-aware. Like, what should you be spending more of your time doing? What should you do less of your time, or spend less of your time doing? Okay, so then after we complete that, there is a big 5 activity in your module materials that you'll complete. You're going to go in and enter your scores from this activity into here. So you'll go through and put your scores from your big 5 personality tests in here so that you kind of know where you're hitting in each of the different areas. Then you're also going to put in your results from that Holland personality work types activity that you completed. And so after that, we're going to take all this information and all the information from the semester, where we had different developmental theories that could help us figure out what kind of lives that we want to live. And we're going to figure out what that is. So here, I don't know if you've seen the show Jane the Virgin, but in there's a really good quote that says, where they're talking about what they want to do with their lives. And she was asked, what do you want to do? And she says, am I being practical or am I being brave? Because for that character, they weren't the same thing. Like, if she was being practical, she wanted to be a teacher. If she was being brave, she wanted to be a writer. So what we're doing here is we're asking you, what do you want to what kind of life do you want to live? It doesn't have to necessarily be anything specific. You do not answer these questions on the slide. These are giving you ideas about things you might want to consider. So if you don't want to be a stay-at-home parent, don't mention it when we get onto the next slide where you're going to do your actual writing, your actual reflection. So what type of career do you want? Or do you want a romantic life partnership? Do you want to have children, or do you already have children? Do you want to be a stay-at-home parent if you want to have kids? What makes your life happy? Like, how will you deal with outside influences that pressure you to live a certain kind of life? Think about these things, right? And then I want you to just write a reflection integrating some of our developmental theory to describe the kind of life you want to live. To do this successfully, you need to integrate 3 different theories, developmental theories. Some of them we've done activities within this very particular activity, right? So we've done a few activities that hit on some of these developmental theories that we've used. And then I want you to talk at least about 3 different types of areas of things that you might want to live. So if we looked at the beginning, we had different things that you could consider, like hobbies, friendships, like what kind of lifestyle do you want to live? Do you want to own your own home? Do you want to live in the country? Do you want to live in an apartment or a condo? Do you want to travel the world and work remotely, instead of living in just one space? So I want you to write a very brief reflection on the kind of life you want to live. If you need to change the font on this one to 12 point, that's fine too. We're looking about, if there's not enough space on this one page, it's okay to duplicate the slide to make another thing. Where I want you to hit is about between 250 and 500 words. So it doesn't have to be anything majorly large or long. And if you need to add a second page, you can. But what we're doing is we're really reflecting on what kind of life you want to live, you personally, and it doesn't have to make sense to anybody else. And you're going to then, from that life plan that you're going to create 3 concrete actions that you could take to strengthen any weaknesses that you have in order to achieve the kind of life that you want to live. So for example, if and you cannot use this example in yours, okay? So if you do, it won't count. So let's think of a weakness. Actually, let me try to think of one that is not one that you all would have. So let's say that you are not enrolled in college, but you want to do some sort of career that has some stability, that pays better, and requires a college degree. So if that is something that you haven't done, one concrete action that you could take in order to achieve this kind of life would be to explore different colleges in your particular career field by looking at price, majors offered, and credibility of the institution, and make a list of 10 colleges that you could go to based on your needs and your financial, where you are in life. Okay. So what we see here is we have a concrete action. They're observable. You can check to see, did you make a list of 10 colleges that have location, cost, majors, and credibility? Did you make that list in a document? It's not just going to be like, oh, find a college to go to. It needs to be concrete, observable thing that you can measure and see if you achieve it or not. Okay, and we're going to do that for action 1, 2, and 3. Let me give another one. So let's say if I, as a musician, wanted to get my song on the radio, a weakness I might have is I struggle to delegate tasks to my bandmates, right? So one action that I could take, right, to strengthen one of my weaknesses is to create an action plan for my band where I list all the tasks that we need to do, and then delegate them out to my bandmates by so-and-so date. All right. So what this does is it takes my strengths, right? I'm really good at organization things, but I'm not good at delegating. So I'm taking one of those weaknesses that I reflected earlier in order to get the kind of life where I get to play music for a living. Okay. And so we'll have 3 different actions that you take. It's all going to stem back to this kind of life you want to live. When you're done with all this, again, you're going to go up to file, you're going to go to download, and you're going to download a PDF of this. Some students asked me if they could add pictures and things to it. Absolutely. So if you look here, all that writing I did earlier is saved. You are going to be graded on if there are like errors in your writing and things like that too. So you're going to want to make sure that when you're doing this, that you're taking some of these things through spell check. Because it is in Google Slides, it might do that, not spell check it as well. So you may want to put it into like Google Docs or Google Word first before you copy and paste them in here. The only thing is I have to be able to read it. So you cannot have smaller than a 12-point font. If you want to leave it on this 18-point font, that's fine too. I am looking at depth. I'm making sure that you're understanding some of the developmental theories, right? So Big 5, personality traits, Holland's work codes, kind of give you an idea of things that you might have strengths in. When we're talking about happiness, there's different things that can make you happy. There's things within our lecture that are not covered in this booklet, looking at different career rewards and intrinsic and extrinsic motivation, and different things that make you happy. Okay. And so what I want you to really do is take this seriously. This should be a really fun and enlightening activity for you. Some people say this is their favorite final project they've ever done. If you have any questions, please let me know. And I look forward. These are really fun to grade, especially when students take them really seriously and are excited about it. Just make sure that you have your last name changed up here and that you upload the PDF to the folder or to the assignment portal before the deadline. I can't wait to learn about the kind of life you want to live, and I hope you're really enjoying this class. All right, thank you.